Hi guys, welcome to part 4 of the Django Amazon Price Tracker project. In this one we are going to begin by setting up our home view. Then we are going to jump to the template to prepare a proper template that is linked with our home view so that we can display the objects that we are tracking on our main page. Then we are going to add a modal with a form from part number 3 to save the objects through our home page before we saved it through the Django administration. And finally, we are going to go through the save method from part number 3 one more time so you can have a better understanding what is happening over there. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so I listed out the number of things that we need to pass to our template so we simply don't forget. So first of all, we need to pass the query set of our objects to the template. Then we need to have a number of items that we are tracking. Then we want to have the number of items that are currently discounted. And we want to bring in our form so we can actually save the objects. This form has been already created. We have it over here. We created it at part number 3. And finally, if we have an error while saving the new item that we are adding, we need to display this error in the template to have an understanding on what is actually happening. Alright, so let's begin by creating a very simple function view. I'm going to call it home view, and this will take in a request. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to initialize the number of discounted items. So I'm going to put in a variable number discounted, and I'm going to set it to 0. And then I'm going to jump to the error. And here I'm also going to initialize it, but with none. So at the beginning we have no error. Then I'm going to bring in our form. So here we will have a form variable, and then let's bring it in from forms. So from .forms, let's import our add link form, and here let's place it add link form that takes in a request post or none. Okay, so we have our form over here, and then we can do an if statement. If request method is equal to post, then we can try to save the form. And why we have a try block? Because as mentioned in part number 3, there might be some cases where the price won't exist anymore. Something might happen. For example, the items would be sold out. So there might not be a price or even a name. So we want to prepare ourselves for such occasion. So this is why we are putting in a try block another if form is valid. And then we are going to simply save the form, save our object. Okay, and then we will have exceptions, like some exceptions. So I'm going to put in 2, except, and the first one will be with the attribute error. And in this case, we are going to change the value of this error to oops. Oops, couldn't get the name or the price, something like this. All right, and then I'll have another more general exceptions. And in this case, the error will be oops, something went wrong. Okay. So if we can't get the name of the price, we will see this oops, couldn't get the name or the price, and in other case we will simply see oops, something went wrong. And then we want to reset our form. So form is equal to, and then add, sorry about this, add link form. All right. So as the next step, let's prepare the query set. The query set will be QS is equal to link, and we need to bring in link. So maybe over here in line number 2, from .modals, we want to import link, and then we want to grab all the items. So link objects all. This is our query set. And we also need to have the number of items. Okay, so let's create another variable, items NO, and this is going to be QS count. All right, so what else do we have? We need to have the number of items that are discounted. So over here we have this number discounted initialized, and it's currently 0. So let's think about a condition to which we want to simply adjust this variable so the value can change. So first of all, we would like to check if the items number is greater than 0 if we are tracking any items. Okay, so if items NO is greater than 0, and in this case we are going to have some kind of a discount item list. I'm just going to call it discount list, and I'm going to simply put it as an empty list. I'm going to initialize it as an empty list, and then we are going to take a for loop so we can actually grab a single item in the query set, and inside this for loop we will check another condition. So we are going to refer to the old price of the item and compare it with the current price. So over here we have the old price and the current price. Okay, so what we are going to do is to put another if statement. If item and then old price is greater than item current price, that means that we want to append this item to the discounted list. So discount list and then append item. All right, and then we are going to check the number discounted, actually not check but change the number discounted by simply grabbing the length of this discount list. So let's put in discount list inside, and if those conditions are met, we are going to simply change the value of number discounted from 0 to a proper number. All right, and finally we need to pass all these things to the template, and we are going to do it with the use of context variable. This is going to be our dictionary. So over here, let's start with QS. Then we will have items NO. Items NO, perfect. What else? Number discounted. All right, then we will have the form, and we will have the error. All right, and as the last step, we need to return, render, pass in the request, pass in the template. So we will have a template in the links application folder. So here we will, in a second, create another templates folder. Inside the templates, we will have another links folder, and there we will place our main.html. So links, main.html, and then we want to pass in the context to this particular template. Okay, so in the links, let's create templates. In the templates, let's create links. And inside the links directory, let's create main.html. All right. So I'm going to simply save this views.py file. And the thing that we didn't do before is to prepare our base.html. So let me go to the settings.py file. Let's see if we didn't tell Django where to look for additional templates. So let's do it very quickly. So base dir and then templates. All right. So in the base directory, we are going to create a templates folder. And this is going to be our main templates folder where we will keep our base.html file. So let's put in base.html. And then if we are going to create a navbar, this is also going to be the place where we are going to keep our navbar. All right, so we can actually start working on this base.html, but let me save the settings.py very quickly. And let's jump to getbootstrap.com and let's jump to the docs. Let's scroll a little bit and let's just copy the starter template. Let's bring it inside of our base.html and then we will do some adjustments. I'm going to leave everything down here as it is. I'm just going to change the title and this is going to be Amazon Price Tracker or My Amazon Price Tracker. And then over here we will have a div with a class, and we are going to put in container to add some spacing on the left and on the right, and then margin top 3. And then I'm just going to close off the div, and inside we are going to place block content for template inheritance purposes. So let's put in block content, and let's go ahead and save this. And right now we can inherit from our base.html. In order to do this, we need to jump to our main.html and let's put in extends base.html. And then let's open up the block content. And inside, let's just put in hello world. Let's save this and let's register our home view in the URL patterns. I'm going to do it directly in our main project folder. So let's go to the URLs and let's import our home view. So from links, views, we want to import the home view, and this is going to be our main path. So let's put it over here, home view, and the name let's set to home view. All right, so I'm going to save this and let's see if this is working. I'm going to hit refresh, and in fact it is working. So we have hello world just for now. So as the next step, we can actually start to work on our main HTML. So let's get rid of hello world. Let's create a div with a class is equal to row. I'm going to indent this. And then inside the div class is equal to row, we are going to have 2 columns. So the first one is going to be for our buttons, and we will have 2 buttons. So we will have an add button, which will activate our modal to add an object for tracking. And the other one will be the update button. So once we press it, we will simply update the prices. And this update functionality will be added in part number 5. All right, so we will have a div class is equal to call. And then let's also add over here text left. And let's close it off. And then I'm just going to copy this and paste it below, because over here we will have, as mentioned before, another column, but in this case the text won't be left, it will be right. So on the left we will have in this first column the buttons, and on the right we will have the total numbers of items that we are tracking and the number of items that are discounted. Okay, so let's begin by adding a button for showing the modal. So we will add a modal a little bit later. For now, let's just put in this button. So this is going to be a button with a class, and then btn, and then outline primary. And as mentioned before, we will add the modal stuff a little bit later. So let's close off this button, and inside let's put in add. All right, and then we will have another button with a class, let's say btn info, like this, and this button will be for the update. So let's put update. All right, so I think we are done with the column left. We can now proceed to the column, the second column, where we have the text on the right. So over here, what we need to do is to open up, let's say, 2 divs, and at least not for now, I'm just going to leave them without a class. In the first one, I'm going to put an information, total number of items being tracked. And here what we need to do is to put in the items NO that we are passing from our views. Okay, and below we will have the discounted items. So discounted items, and let's put in NO discounted. Let's check if I spelled this correctly. NO discounted. I'm just going to copy this to be sure, and I'm going to paste it over here. All right, so now I'm going to save this, and let's hit refresh. All right, so we have add, and we have update, and then we have total number of items being tracked and the discounted items. Perfect. So we can actually go back, and as the next step, we actually need to display those items. Let's begin by doing an if statement to check if the query set actually exists. And if the query set exists, we will proceed, but before we actually do this block, let's take care of the else, because it will be a little bit shorter. So here I'm just going to put in an H3, no items being tracked, something like this. Okay, so this should be displayed when we don't have any items. For now, we have one item added in the previous part. So we can actually take care of this query set if it actually exists. Okay, so if a query set exists, we will have a for loop over here. So let's write for, and then let's grab a single item in the QS that we are receiving from our view. And yeah, to fill this out, we are actually going to return to Bootstrap, and we are going to put in card. So let's find a proper card. We actually don't need with a card with images. So maybe let's grab this one, and we are just going to make some adjustments. All right, so I'm just going to copy this and place it over here, and then I'm going to fix the indentation, and then let's get rid of this this part over here for the image. Okay, we will delete the style, and over here I'm just going to add a margin top 3. Inside the card, we will not only have the card body, but we will also have a div with a class header. So I'm just going to copy this and change the body to header. And I'm going to close it off. So over here, let's just put in maybe an h5. Let's put in the item name, all right? And then we can actually proceed to the body. Here we will also have a delete button, but as mentioned before, we will take care of this a little bit later. So let's actually proceed with the body. So actually I'm going to get rid of all the this div card body contents, and I'm going to put them on my own. So we will have a div with a class equal to block quote, and let's close off the div. And inside we are going to put in several things. So first of all, let's display the current price. So I will have a div. Actually, I'm going to just copy those divs and fill them out later. So first of all, we will have for a current price, then we will have for the old price. So let's paste it for the old price. Then we will have for the difference in price. And finally, we will also have the link itself, the URL. Okay, so let's place current price. Maybe let's also indicate that this is a price in dollars, and then item current price, something like this. All right, so this is for the current price. Then we will have the old price, also in dollars. And here we will have item old price. All right. Then we will have difference, also of course in dollars. And then we will have item dot price difference. Okay, and finally we will have the link, and this is going to be href equal to, and here we will place the item URL. So item URL like this. Let's close off the quotation mark, and maybe let's put in the div just the item URL. Okay, so let's try this out. Later we will add a template tag for the price difference so we can actually see some colors. If the price is discounted, we will see the price, for example, in green. If it increased, we will see it in red. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this main.html, and let's refresh the page. And there it is. So we have PS4 FIFA 21, we have the current price, the old price, and the difference in price. So this is working. And yeah, right now, let's actually work on adding the modal. So in order to do this, we need to go to cards, to bootstrap, sorry, and place in modal. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the examples. Here we have a live demo, so we will use this particular example. Okay, so I'm going to grab the modal from over here, and then I'm going to place it at the very top of my blog content. This is where the modal will go. Let me just indent it very quickly. And I'm also going to indent this. All right. So as the next step, let's take care of what we need to put in our button. So those two things we need to copy and place it to our button. And we want the add button to activate the modal. So here we need to provide the proper ID. And for now it's example modal, but maybe I will change it to add item modal, something like this. And now I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to change this over here. So right now the modal display should be working, so let's try it out. I'm going to go to our site, hit refresh, and I'm just going to press the add button, and here is our modal. So we need to do, of course, some adjustments over here. We need to focus on our modal body, but also maybe starting from the top on the modal title. So here I'm just going to put in add an item for tracking, okay? And in the modal body, we will have a form. So let's put in form action is equal to blank, and then the method is equal to post, and we will also add autocomplete is equal to off, so we don't see the history. Let's close off the form. Let's put in the CSRF token, and let's put in the form itself. So let's try this out right now. I'm going to hit refresh, and here is the URL. So this isn't looking very nice. We can add Django crispy forms. Let me see if we did it already. Pip freeze. No, we didn't install Django crispy forms. So let's do it very quickly. Pip install Django crispy forms. Okay, and then we need to go to our settings.py file. In the installed apps, we need to provide crispy forms. So let's put it in crispy forms like this. And then at the very bottom, let's add a comment, crispy forms. And here we need to set the crispy template pack. And we want to set it as bootstrap 4. Bootstrap 4. All right, bootstrap 4. Okay, hopefully I spelled this correctly. And finally, we can go to main.html. Here, let's load crispy forms tags. And now we can apply the crispy filter. Let's save this. Let's refresh. Of course, we need to run the development server, Python manage py run server, and let's try it one more time. Add, and there it is. So this is looking much better. And yeah, let's go back to our modal. And as the next step, I'm just going to grab this. So I'm going to grab the blue button, paste it inside of the form. I'm going to change the type to submit, and I'm just going to delete the changes, so we will have a save button, and then I'm going to delete the modal footer. So do we have one div? Okay, here is a div that should be indented, I think, and this caused the confusion. And right now I think everything is okay. Let's go ahead and save this, and let's test this out. Let's see if this is working. So let's refresh. Let's open up the modal. Here we will have to add some spacing. I'm going to grab this link, place it in the URL, save, and it did work. However, we have some issues. So I think we didn't close a tag somewhere. Let's find out. Okay, so over here we didn't close the href. And this is right now okay. So also what I'm going to do is to go over here and maybe add a margin top 2. Let's save it. Let's hit refresh one more time. Let's see the modal. This is looking much better. Let's grab this one and let's place it over here. Let's wait a few seconds. And as you can see, this particular item has also been added. We can see it over here. Okay. So finally, let's take a look at this one. I'm just going to copy it and let's save it. And there it is. Okay. So I just want to mention that we have filtering by the price difference and then by the created from the newest to the oldest. Let's take a look at our modals.py file. Here we have the price difference and then minus created. So we see the newest items at the top, the oldest at the bottom. Okay, so the last thing that we want to do today is to go through this save method one more time. So let's do it very quickly. So here we have the name and the price from our getLink data. So this is what we created starting from the beginning, but we just took it and used it in our Django project. So we are here returning the name and the price. This is why we only need to actually add the URL, and then this function will simply return for us the name and the price, and we can store it in our database. So going back to the modals, we will have an old price variable for the self current price. The self current price at this moment becomes the old price. Okay, so if we have the current price filled out, that means we are updating over here. If we have this current price, which is blank, is equal to true, so this is an optional field. If we have it, that means we are updating. If we don't have it, that means we are creating, okay? And then we are checking if the price that we got from over here, the fresh price, is different from the old price. And if it is, we are calculating the price difference, okay? So then we are setting rounded price in the price difference field, and then we are setting the old price to the old price over here. All right. In other case, nothing changes. We have old price is equal to 0 and self price is equal to 0. So if we are creating, we don't have an old price and we don't have the price difference. And then the self name is the name, and the self current price we are setting as the fresh price from over here. If it's not understandable, please experiment on your own. I hope this will become clear once you kind of touch it and play around with it on your own. All right, guys, so it was quite a long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and then the next and the final part will be the 5th part, and it will be published next week. Have a great day, and bye-bye.